You rewind back to how Grubhub started. Why can't I have every single restaurant on a platform that I can order from in one place, place the order, and get it 30 to 40 minutes later?
Takeout. The early days of pizza delivery has now become a revolution, with online ordering changing the game on how we shop and consume. We now can buy anything and everything online, including food. Global revenues for online food delivery are now over $294 billion, with Grubhub providing over 20 million active users annually, led by CEO Adam DeWitt.
To start, one thing that gets lost is that the industry is still a growing industry.
What's the takeaway? Yeah, well, it's really about profitability, right? How do we create a sustainable business out of this, right?
We're all going to have the same restaurants. We're all going to have similar SLAs on delivery. We're going to have similar products. And because it's competitive, it's obviously getting more and more commoditized. And so how do we create that emotional connection that gets them to click Grubhub?
So I think a lot of people in the professional world view themselves like, oh, I want to be a CEO one day. That sounds like a great job. What's something that people aren't necessarily thinking about when they think of the role of CEO?
Yeah, I think, the big difference becoming a CEO is, in some ways, you're a salesperson to everybody, right? Every constituent, right? You need to be motivating employees. You need to bring in customers. And my first year at Grubhub, we did $20 million in revenue. We had 150 employees. We were only in Chicago, New York, Boston, Philly, DC, San Francisco. Fast forward to 2022, we did $9 billion in gross food sales, probably compared to a couple hundred million in 2011. We're gonna do $2.5 billion in revenue compared to that 20 million, 3,000 employees versus 120.
Can you talk about a little bit more from a high-level standpoint where you're operating now?
We're in every state. We cover more than 90% of the population. We have Grubhub delivery drivers that cover 85% of the population across the US. If you thought about Grubhub as a restaurant brand, right, compared to the Starbucks, McDonald's of the world, we would be the third or fourth biggest food brand in the US.
Talk about just a space where there's ultra competitiveness. You're all kind of vying for that market share. How is Grubhub trying to stand out?
I think every industry has a lot of challenges, right? Our business, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. Even if we're not doing the delivery, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? We have a diner who's entering a food order in an app. There could be cheese didn't get selected for the hamburger. Someone at the restaurant could have knocked over a tablet somewhere or missed the order. A driver could take too long to get there. There's a lot of variables to get right. When the product first came out, I think 85, 90% of the time, things worked out great. That's awesome. Over time, it's more and more important that we get all of those things right. So what's really important is that we take those challenges and turn them into opportunities. The key is, how do we handle that, right? And at the margin, there's little ways that you can differentiate from a product experience perspective, but there's also, from a brand perspective, how do you create an emotional connection so that when a diner is sitting on a couch and has the two competitors and us on their phone, how do we create that emotional connection that gets them to click Grubhub? So we moved in here 2012 and we had 2.5 floors. And so this floor was pretty much execs, finance, HR, product and tech. And then below us was customer care. Okay, and then upstairs, there's only 2 conference rooms. We now have 8 floors in the building.
Oh, wow.
And 1,500 people.
Do you think that'll expand in the next couple years?
I don't think it's expanding. I mean, it's hard to, there's not a lot of companies that are
having a lot
growing real estate, right? You have a combination of things.
I'm looking around and I'm seeing, it looks like a tech startup.
Yeah.
But you're huge.
Yeah.
Can you describe that balance of being that nimble company?
It's hard.
But also you're big with 3,000 employees and you're doing $9 billion in revenue?
It's hard, but it's absolutely what we're going for, right? One of our key values is, being scrappy entrepreneurs, right? But as you hire 3,000 people, how do you do that? And I think it's, for me, it's leading by example. This is gonna be challenging to get us out.
Look at you driving through the city.
Get us out of the...
Not that you're not used to driving in the city, but trying to pump up your driving skills.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't think you want to do that. I'm a pretty aggressive driver, so.
Yeah, that's okay. We need to be.
Our drivers are amazing, and you know, we've been, you know, if it's -2 degrees in Chicago, our drivers are out there, you know, working.
Yeah.
But they make more money that way.
And people want to get food delivery, and when it's -2, they want to stay in their home.
My wife and I order sushi at least once a week, and that's pretty much a standard Friday night order. Plus,
True story. My wife ordered sushi on Grubhub last night.
Me too.
Yeah. There you
Me
go.
too. I
You're
probably ordered a
welcome, by the
different
way.
place. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you for your business.
Is there a moment in your time with Grubhub where you went through like a really difficult time that you guys got through?
Running a business, you know, is a journey. Being part of a business is a journey. There's lots of challenging times. It wouldn't be fun if it wasn't, right? If everything was easy all the time, it wouldn't be challenging or fun. You certainly wouldn't be learning. I think back in 2019, we put out a shareholder letter talking about the challenges of the competition in the industry. You know, we signaled to the market that we would probably be a little less profitable than we had in the past. And what was great, though, was that the company, you know, the stock settled, and internally, people got it and were excited to move forward. And we pivoted and started focusing on restaurant supply and diner engagement through loyalty programs, including, you know, our subscription product. And we had, you know, by the time COVID hit, which was 5 or 6 months later, we had materially kind of changed the trajectory. We were really excited where things were headed.
All right. Look at you. You're just, not that there's a look of a delivery driver, but you look very natural in this. You're taking your sweet ass
Working
time.
18A.
I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm coming with you.
All right.
I got to see this through.
I am not the CEO.
Who is a leader that you do not know that you would love to meet and or share a meal with, whatever, get a chance to hang out with them?
Someone who I think would be fascinating to talk to is Tim Cook. You know, he obviously on a much bigger scale, but took over a founder-led business and, you know, has done an amazing job operating. So it's, you know, it would be great to learn from and talk to him about his experiences. That's exactly what I'm doing.
What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I loved math when I was in school. So at one point, I think I wanted to be a math teacher.
What's your last meal on earth?
I don't know, but I know with 100% certainty that it'll come from one of our 380,000 restaurants.
Oh, come on, you gotta have, you gotta have a last meal. Favorite sports team?
The Brooklyn Nets, most dysfunctional team in the NBA.
Outside hobbies? What are your outside hobbies?
I'm a father of 3. I'm really trying to be part of their lives.
I'm giving you the ability to teleport anywhere for an awesome vacation. Where are you going?
Last summer, my daughter won the national championship in trampoline, and I was unable to go. So I would love to teleport back to watch her win that.
You mentioned you're a father of 3. Talk about that role a little bit. You have a family to manage, and you're managing a monster company as well. Maybe I should use a different word than monster, but you're managing a big company with a lot of ambition. I mean, how do you manage that yourself? I assume there's a lot of busy schedules in your life. So
yeah, I mean,
just talk about balancing that.
Look, it's really, you know, it's funny. First of all, I really pride myself on doing that. My family's, you know, incredibly important to me. You know, I'm here doing this because I love it, but also, you know, for my family. And I love being part of my kids' lives. But, you know, watching them grow is something I'm never going to be able to do again, right? So, you know, you do what you can. And for me, you know, it's going to the after school or extracurriculars, carving out an hour here or an hour there, and then working later at night to make up for time.
So who are you most thankful for where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, the answer just sound a little like a cop-out, but there's not one person. I'm so grateful for so many people, right? You know, that have helped me or influenced my career in little ways or big ways, right? From a career perspective, you know, talk about my sister introduced me to someone who convinced me not to go to business school and sent me down a totally different career path. And there's, I don't know, would I be CEO of Grubhub? Probably not. I don't know. It could have been successful or could have had a good career, but I certainly wouldn't be here. And that's 25 years ago.
If a young entrepreneur came to you right now and said, Adam, what's your piece of advice? I noticed that you serve on a few boards. You're an advisor probably to a number of individuals, but what piece of advice would you give to entrepreneurs that are looking to start a business?
From an entrepreneur kind of small business perspective, the advice that I would give an entrepreneur is, actually don't listen to a lot of advice, right? So get some advice on super tactical subject matter expertise that maybe you don't have, but really, what you want to do is do it, learn from your mistakes, be excited about making mistakes so you can learn from it and get better. You're the one, if you're starting a new business, you're going to be building, a new product or a twist on a product that exists, so it's not really out there. You're gonna need to figure it out.
Adam, thanks so much. Thanks so
thank
much
you.
for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a
really
good time.
Fun to learn about you and Grubhub.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fun doing deliveries.
Glad we got to take you out in the rain.
All right.